Hey there, Floss Tube. This is Kathy, the hands-on designer, coming at you with a new video. Yeah, just a few weeks since my last video that I had two special guests, and but I had some different things I wanted to talk about. So, but before I get into things, well, I guess there's something really important I wanted to say, and I was talking recently with Michelle Garrett from Bendy Stitchy. I had done a donation to her walk to end Alzheimer's, and we were discussing, who the winner was because I'm going to send them something else. And well, she brought something kind of important to my attention, and I feel like I have to apologize to the Floss Tube community. When I said the correct pronunciation of my last name, I really did not mean to break Floss Tube. Okay, I can't do this anymore. I'm trying to be serious and I can't do it. Anyway, so apparently in my last video, with my son Billy and my sister Cindy, normally, I kind of go through these in my head, like what I'm gonna say, and yeah, practice, okay, because sometimes you have to, or you do a couple different takes. We did that in one take, lots of goofy laughing. There was probably more giggles and more stitching than stitching, and it didn't even dawn on me that I said my last name. I believe the words were, "Hi, this is Kathy Haberman from the Hands-On Designer," and that generated so many emails and comments that Michelle Garrett of Bendy Stitchy told me apparently I broke Floss Tube. So I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. But the general rule of thumb, just to give you, a little, I never thought that, I needed to school people on how to say my last name. It's Haberman. Okay, there you go. Not an O, but it's an A. And when there's two N's on the end of the name, it's not really a long A, but I always tell people it's like you're saying the word aw, but without the W, you don't go aw, because I'm not Haberman, but I'm Haberman. So when there's two N's, it's Haberman. When there's one N, it's usually Haberman or Haberman. Okay. I guess the way I explained it to Michelle is that I grew up, my maiden name is Wutzke, spelled W-U-T-Z-K-E. So when you grow up with that kind of last name, and plus I'm Kathy, I'm a Kathy with a C in an entire generation of Kathy with K's, you just sort of get immune to, the way people pronounce your name. When I growing up, if teachers put you in alphabetical order by last name in the classroom, I was always, in the back corner. So I just sort of, I just don't really pay that any attention. So it never dawned on me that people would be like, I got some of the cutest emails. I'm so, apologizing for saying my last name wrong. It's all good. Don't worry about it. Anyway, so let's move on, and I promise I'll try not to say my last name again. And you say it however you say it. I guess I'm just glad that you're saying my name at all. So it means maybe you're watching or you're liking my patterns or anything like that. So anyway, so I can't. Enough with the bad acting. Anyway, so I did want to come and do a little quick video. I had hoped to do a FlossTube, or no, Facebook Live this weekend, but that didn't work out, and I'll explain. I was out of town for the weekend. I went with a bunch of friends. We were visiting another friend in her home in Rochester, and we had such a blast. I guess that's my biggest wish for anybody is that, if you don't, that you have, number one, friends that, this group of friends, I mean, we've seen each other through many, many years. I mean, becoming a mom, becoming a grandmom, children getting married, just aging, some of us not so gracefully and some of us gracefully. We've had people pass from our group. We've had people move away, new jobs. We've had one of our members we saw, off to serve overseas for a year. We've had knee replacements, we've had hip replacements, we've had broken bones, we've had cancer. This particular group was very inspiring to me and really just lifted me up a few years ago when I was having a hard time with some issues. And and it's just, my wish for you is that you have a group of friends like this. And I know how very fortunate I am that this particular group of friends also stitches. So we got together and we went in several different cars. We drove up to Rochester and visited this one friend of ours that moved away, and so we had a blast. And we did go to Stitchville on Saturday. It's an hour and a half away, but it's just right around the corner. So, but we went and we had a good time. Debbie, the owner, was in. She's not always in on Saturdays, but once a month she does a breakfast and they have a stitch in. So that happened to be, we got lucky and that was the Saturday. So I got a chance to say hi to her, met some stitchers. Joan and Kelly, I missed you, but then I didn't tell them. I didn't tell them I was coming. I didn't really say anything because you get 7 women together, you don't exactly know what's going to happen to the schedule. But we did get in, and if you saw on social media, I found where Joan and Kelly film, and I took a little selfie in their filming spot. So I thought that was kind of funny. I thought, wouldn't that have been hilarious had they been there and filming it? I would have just done like a Floss Tube bomb, hey! I think I would have blown them away. But anyway, maybe another time. But anyway, so I had kind of planned, because I knew Priscilla would be filming her Floss Tube video on Saturday and showing off the brand new chalk on the farm. And I had told her that I was going to maybe try and do like a Facebook Live type of thing, but I didn't really put it out there that I was going to do it, because again, get 7 women together and you don't know what's going to happen. So anyway, so I'm coming at you now with just a quick little video, because I've got to get going on, we're starting to pack orders. It's always a very long process getting the first orders packed up and shipped out to shops. So if you pre-ordered through your shop, thank you, number 1. And number 2, they should start hitting the post office tomorrow. So you should have it very, very quickly. Anyway, but I want to show you my version and let you know too, I have 2 charts releasing now. I will share first my Around the Holidays. Again, that's the series. There'll be 6 in all. And I'm offering them as 2 different, a short stack drum and a flapjack pillow. And this one is my Halloween version, and I know there have been quite a few that have been waiting for this one. So this one is titled Put on the Hat. I'm just gonna get a little close-up of that witch. Okay, I have to tell you, when I was working on this design, I literally sat at my computer like, okay, how would your hands be if, like I put a fake, I don't have a hat head, so I was putting a hat on my head, like, okay, how would and I had a mirror there so I could figure out how my hands were gonna go. And I'm sure if anybody would have peeked in the studio, they'd have been like, what's she doing? But anyway, so this is the drum version. I always have fun. I make so that my beginning and my end sort of line up and make a different design element. And then that's the short stack drum finishing tutorial on my website. And then for those that don't want to do the drum version, you can do all pretty much the same elements. I just kind of rearrange them for the little pillow. And you do get a 9x10 piece of hand-dyed velveteen. Is by Lady Dot. The color of the velveteen is purple onion. And of course it's got the Jabco pin mini called Happy Haunt. And then it's stitched with all Gentle Art sampler threads. DMC substitutes are given inside. And then the fabric, mine is on the, as with the entire series, is the 32 count colonial parchment from Hand Dyed Fabrics, or Fabrics by Stephanie. This is a great color, very subtle in its shading. It would be awesome for samplers, just anything. I mean, it's just a great neutral, and that's why I chose it, because each one of these has its own color palette. So I needed a background that would work for everything. Just cute little bats on there. I just love my witch putting on her hat. Kind of, I took this sort of from the saying, sometimes you have to put on the hat and remind them who they're dealing with. So put on the hat, which I have to say, when we were, I was with my girlfriends this past weekend, somebody was joking about that she got her tiara out of the vault for the weekend, and it kind of one thing led to another, and we all ended up wearing tiaras. Okay, mine was plastic. Okay, they were all plastic. But we wore our tiaras to Stitchville. We wore our tiaras to lunch. We wore our tiaras we went to a Four Sisters winery in Rochester that night, and had a blast wearing our tiaras. And we did get some funny looks, but then we also got a lot of women going, oh, that looks like so much fun. So anyway. So now I will say, remember, you do get a piece of the hand-dyed velveteen, purple onion. A 9 by 10 piece is enough to finish either the pillow or the top and the bottom. There's enough to get both circles on there of the in the chart. So if you want to do both, you're going to need to order extra, and most shops are ordering extra velveteen. Now for the flapjack pillow, I put the hand-dyed velveteen. That it's always something. This is also from Lady Dot, and it is called Wizard. Not Purple Fizz, not Grape Fizz. It's called Wizard. Yes, it's wrong on the chart. No, you don't need to email me and let me know it's wrong. I've already had that discussion with Lois, who dyed it. I told her she was going to have the job. We proofed these charts to make sure, you know, everything is right. You know, the symbols, the colors, and then I put the wrong color of chenille on there. But she's, if shops are ordering, right now, if they're ordering something called Grape Fizz or Purple Fizz, she's going, is that for Kathy's chart? Then she knows what to send them. So Wizard Chenille, Purple Onion Velveteen. Jabco did the pin mini, Happy Haunt. Let's see if I can get that. You got a little bat, you got a pumpkin, and you got a frog. Fun. So that ships out tomorrow. So then, now you've probably seen maybe it on Facebook or Instagram, and then Priscilla did her video on Saturday. The next in Chalk on the Farm, Autumn Acres Farm. She does her, we do them different ways, which I think is fun because it shows you all your different options. But here's the big piece. Ta-da! I don't know. My new favorite. What can I say? My new favorite. This one, I think, is really fun in that I think if, you know, it's the same size. They're all basically the same size because the finish is all the same. But if you really just want to focus on an area, if you're like, oh, that's so much, I can't do that, if you're really into the smalls, this one is very, very easily broken down into segments. Like you could just do the sunflower area with the scarecrow and the pretty pumpkins. Of course, I got my blue pumpkins in there for Priscilla. Now, these pumpkins are shaded gray. Their original intent was to be white pumpkins. But, you know, sometimes when you go from the drawn piece to the cross-stitch piece, you have to make a couple little changes to get, you know, to kind of get the effect. So it's a very pale gray. So you could just stitch that piece and frame it or pillow it, or you could also do the truck with, I so I can see Calvin in there. And what's kind of fun for me to see Calvin in a piece finally is, for years, we had a gray cat. She was, half Siamese, half Blue Russian, and so the Blue Russian coloring won out. But we had her for about 20 years. So she was our first baby, and so I do miss her. Even though we do have a farm as it is. We have a dog and 2 cats, and have had for years. But I just love seeing that little gray kitty in there. So, and again, I think you can see different parts that you could, even just in the barn. Zappy Dots, the people that do the needle nannies, did do new sets of needle nannies for this one. They did one that focuses on the scarecrow, and then one that focuses on the truck area. So if you're collecting those, be sure to pick that up from either your needle workshop can order it for you, or also the folks at Needle Nanny, Zappy Dots have it on their website. So just a lot of fun, and I did the same finish. Now, yes, I did change the fabric for those savvy of you enough to say, hey, that's not what she originally showed us. I was doing some sneak peeks online. Yes, I did change the color. I had actually a pale gray with black dots, and the more I got looking at it, I just thought it was all gonna just fade. And that's the beauty of playing with finishing sometimes, is you just, sometimes what you think of up here it doesn't always work out. So you got to have that, option B. In this case, I went with the green, and it was a lovely shade. It just complemented everything in there. And of course, I knew I wanted the lovely gingham bow. Again, this is an 11 by 14 standard frame. Mine was purchased at Hobby Lobby. And I just found this perfect frame. And this is mat board, or actually foam core covered in fabric, then and fit into the back. And then this is stretched. This is 32 count slate, Fabrics by Stephanie. Every company out there now has their version of what chalkboard is. And I think by now most of you have kind of gotten comfortable with whatever you're comfortable with. So use your favorite one. Just because I use this doesn't mean you have to. I do enjoy stitching on this fabric, but there's one that you might be more comfortable with. Go for it. So I put the little clips in the top, and then this is I use a double-sided acid-free tape. So this is taped to the fabric, and then there's a pin through the back of those little clips. And then the bow goes to the top. This traveled with me, so my bow needs a little fluffing. But anyway, I did the gray and white gingham bow, and yes, that I also did get at Hobby Lobby. So not doing, people, why do you always go to Hobby Lobby? Well, I live in a small town, and that's all we have. So, so you do what you work with what you got. So anyway, so there's the sampler piece of Automaker's Farm. Pretty cool. And, okay, I have to tell a little story about this one. And I think Priscilla might have talked about it in her video. Automaker's Farm, the sign portion. Now, Priscilla puts both of hers together in that really large frame that she's got, so it looks terrific. So I kind of figured I would finish mine the same from time to time. Okay, this is probably very different. I really try and stay true to her original drawing, but this is probably the most different that the drawing, what turned out in the chart as opposed to her drawing. Because after she sent me the drawing, we were talking, and she said, okay, the letters for autumn, it was big to begin with, but it was orange and white. And she said, do you think you could do those? It looked like they were kind of a plaid, but like white outline with like little orange dots in there, or stripes or something. And I thought, well, that's going to be a challenge. We were talking, and she said, do you think instead of doing orange, could you do the light gray? Because she and I both love the black and the white, or the gray and the white, the houndstooth and the gingham, and in this case the buffalo plaid. And it's just everywhere. You kind of can't look at an advertisement for fall decor, winter decor, anything right now without seeing the buffalo plaid. So she said, do you think you could try and do that as buffalo plaid? And outwardly I went, sure. Inwardly I went, I was like, I'll try. And I love the way it came out. I just, okay, there's close up. I just love the way it came out. This actually took me a while because once I charted it, then I did actually do some back stitching around it at first. I ripped all that back stitching out. It cluttered it up too much. There is a little bit of back stitching in there in the end, and then some of the letters, mostly because, well, you have to make the edges of the plaid. And but the end result I just loved. So like I said, it basically has all the elements that she included in the original chalk drawing, but I had to move things around a little bit. So I finished mine the same way. This is flat finished onto matte board. I curved the top edges, and then it is mounted. Again, I use the little clips. It's mounted to a piece of black foam core that I cut to size, and then I found a scrapbook paper that I like, and spray mounted that to it, and then again did the same treatment with the bow. And the bow is actually held in place. I have a stash of those pin sets in my personal collection. So I just picked out some. These were all leaves, and I did give the set number in the chart of which one they went with. But what I was really going for was the color. And of course that they were fall leaves definitely helped the overall look. And so I just think it kind of finishes it. Plus that's what's holding the bow in place. And I used a fun stripe. I always go into the search for whether it's the fabric, on the background, or it's the paper on the background of this. I always go into, because people say, I would never have thought of that stripe for that, but it looks great. Well, number one, thank you. You just can't be afraid to play with color, and not everything has to be matchy-matchy. Some things can be matchy-matchy. Don't be, upset if you're a matchy-matchy type of person. At least you know what you like. But sometimes I think it's fun to go in with an open mind. Like I definitely was thinking, I was looking for a green. Well, then I got swayed to the gray with the black dots. And then when it came out, I actually had that green in my stash at home. And same thing with this paper. I bought several sheets of paper. Scrapbook paper is so inexpensive, and especially if it's on sale. And I laid this out on a variety of patterns, some burlappy looking, some barnwood looking, some, and sometimes you don't even look in like the farm section, shall we say, or even fall. In fact, I don't think any of the papers that I've chosen for this have been from like the seasonal section. Sometimes you just look for the color, and just try and pick up, and there are shades in here for sure that are not in here, and vice versa. But that's okay, because you're looking at that overall blend and meld. Now, this is a directional print, so you do have to be careful when you're attaching the paper to the back, that you want the stripes to be fairly straight. I'd say mine are pretty straight. So anyway, so that's Automaker's Farm. Shipping 2 shops. The first boxes will go out tomorrow morning. And I know, be sure to check out Priscilla's and Chelsea's video, because they were talking about, I'm sure they'll do a contest of some sort. They usually do. And I'm looking forward to see what she brings me for the next Chalk on the Farm, because we still have one more season to go. And I look forward to it. And thanks for, allowing me to kind of be just a weekend delayed with getting these shipped, so I could have a fun time with my girlfriends and take a little respite. And we, let's see, we head off in a little over a week for my last teaching engagement for the year. And then really what comes next is all the executing the 2019 plans. So I've got some teaching engagements. We'll have market coming up soon. I've got new series planned. All kinds of fun stuff. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm often asked, how far ahead do you work on these things? And I was like, it kind of varies. Series for next year actually have been in the works now for a month or two. We start playing with color. I start playing with concepts. Now, the chalk is probably one that comes together, quite frankly, at the last minute. Sometimes, I mean, I don't even get the drawing till months beforehand. And then once I get it, I have to work it into my schedule of how I can do the translation from the actual, Priscilla's actual chalk drawing into the cross stitch, and then I make changes, and then we talk about color, and and then we do things like, can you make it gingham or buffalo plaid? And so those things, I will say, do generally come about pretty quickly. There's a pretty short timeline there, even though, but the whole series itself was planned out, in advance, but the actual designs, not so much. But so it kind of just depends. And that's the fun part of the job, the part that, I think keeps it always different and fresh and exciting and fun. But, so anyway, this is Kathy Haberman. Don't mean to break Floss Tube again. But anyway, in the meantime, I have enjoyed seeing all your renditions of the chalk pieces. I know quite a few of you will tag or hashtag Priscilla and Chelsea, and then the Chalk on the Farm, but you also do hands-on design, and I appreciate that because I really enjoy seeing the different finishes, and it's kind of cool to see these things actually come to life, and fun to see. So on that note, please accept my humble apologies for breaking Floss Tube, and enjoy the stitch. I'll talk to you later.